E aí, como é que vocês estão? Depois de muito tempo eu tô gravando. Tô gravando na madrugada porque o Genshin atualizou. Tô gravando a história. Sim, eu comecei a história um tempinho sem gravar. Então, não liguem, relaxa. Eu tava testando os bagulhos, não sei o que, mas relaxa que eu tô no começo. Caso vocês não tenham visto o início, tipo, não tem nada demais no início. Tipo, tem a Paimon falando com o viajante sobre o bagulho lá do vídeo anterior que eu gravei sobre a história. Dos descidos, esse bagulho aí. Da Lumine, etc, né? É isso.
Traveler, I hear you've helped many people a great deal and been to many places.
Actually, we don't know much about that place either. In fact, we only came over here because we heard you talking about it and wanted to learn more.
Ah, I see. My teacher chose this area of research as a personal challenge. He said it's difficult to get into because even Inazumans don't know much about Tatarasuna's past. But who'd have thought that,
If you don't mind, I'd love to show you all my outline for the book I'm writing about Tatarasuna.
Hold on, Sawada. Don't you think that's a bit of a deep dive for a first read?
Well, fair point. In that case, please ease yourselves in gently by taking a look at Akaba's latest essay draft.
Let me give you some background. This all started with the discovery of some records in Tatarasuna. The writings mentioned someone by the name of Mikoshi Nagamasa, who crafted a fine blade. And he fired to destroy it, and killed his servant Karagi. Why? Well, no one knows. Apart from the swordmaker, his servant, and the one who wrote this all down, the records also mention a kabuki mono. This seems to be an...
That's right. Akaba's teacher has spent quite some time researching these events on the ground. This kabuki mono lived into...
So first this strange person goes missing, then a murder happens? Seems kind of fishy to Paimon.
Yes, my thoughts exactly. So I helped out too. I asked everyone I could think of if they knew anything about what happened back then. And wow! Did I get lucky!
Stop shouting!
Meu Deus, o cara gritando, velho.
This part's important. I just wanted to make it stand out. It just so happens that a friend of mine works at the government records office. He looked into it for me, and I can now confirm that all the aforementioned individuals did, in fact, live in Inazuma over 400 years ago. Even back then, Tatarasuna was already at the center of Inazuma's smelting industry. The man in charge was a government official named Niwa. Curiously enough, it seems like he went missing too.
Ih, não tô achando bagulho de... Ah, tá, achei.
Wait, so there are two missing people in this story now?
That's right! What's more, Niwa is a name with a lot of history to it. Have you ever heard of...
Oh, the swordsmiths? Yeah, like Ishin art and so on?
Wow, yes. You really know your stuff. That makes things easier. So basically, this Niwa was a distant relative of the Kaidahara clan, the last practitioners of Ishin art.
Eita, clã do
Something then
Kazuha.
seemed to have happened in the Kaidahara clan, leading to their downfall. I don't know the details, but taken in light of everything else going on around that time, it makes you wonder whether it's all connected somehow.
The Kaidahara clan?
Sawada, you left out the biggest detail of all.
Oh, yes, of course. How could I forget? Brace your minds, ladies and gents, for they are about to be blown. Or maybe you won't believe your ears. I wouldn't blame you, of course, because in all my years as a writer, this is by far the most.
Get to the point, for Pete's sake.
According to information acquired by Akaba's teacher, the Kabukimono was not a human, but a puppet.
A puppet?
Interessante demais, hein? Pera, o scaramuche vive há 400 anos? Meu Deus do céu.
Aha! Judging by the looks on your faces, you do.
Meu Deus.
No! Ryman just meant, how creepy. The way you described it makes it sound like a ghost story.
I agree, it does. But considering that non-human races in Inazuma are by no means uncommon, spooky events are to be expected. And that's exactly what my book is about. Please, take a look.
Meu Deus, tem muita coisa. Eu não vou ler isso aqui não. Não agora.
Oh,
Posso
and
até ler em algum
please
momento,
read
mas
my
não
essay
agora.
draft as well.
Muita coisa. Não, não vou ler não. Meu Deus, tem muita coisa pra ler. Puta que pariu, eu não vou ler isso não. Não mesmo.
Sawada was encouraging me to follow his more creative approach, but I think essays should be. Oh! How about if I plug the holes in Sawada's narrative with little intrigue? Like, I could put a turf war between rival factions at the center of the whole.
Wait! You're allowed to just make stuff up? Pretty sure you've gone from essay to guessay there.
Akaba, look. Your teacher has researched this extensively. I've reached out to everyone I could think of. Whatever information we have now is... Besides, if there really was a political power struggle going on at anything like the level you seem to be suggesting...
Good point. Okay, back to the drawing board, I guess. Give me some time.
We have some other stuff to do, so we'll have to say goodbye for now. Good luck.
All right, thank you. If you find out any more info about all this, please...
Vamos lá na Kusanali. Se não me engano agora.
Hey, so that thing they were talking about, it has to do with the balladeer, doesn't it? Okay, then even if we did know something about it, we probably couldn't share it with them, huh? After all, we kicked his butt and got him locked up. Information about people like that is usually super confidential, isn't it?
Sim, bem confidenciais.
If you ask Paimon, Akaba should just pick a different topic. There must be as many essay topics as there are trees in the forest. There's no point in...
Olha ele. Nossa, não creio.
Hey, did you see that? He literally just went by, over there. It looked like... The balladeer! No, it can't have been. He got locked up. Oh, quick, let's catch up and see.
Quero muito ver isso aí, velho. Aliás, eu testei o scaramuche. Muito bom o gameplay dele. Mas eu vou atrás da Bal, sabe? Meu objetivo é a Bal. Então, Eu vou ter que aguentar as pontas pra atirar até lá. Porque eu tô no pitch 70, 60. Tu não posso atirar de jeito nenhum. Nem 10 tiros. Porque, pô, as chances de vir são altas. Então, nem é melhor arriscar. Olha a coisa nave. Desculpem, o gráfico tá feio, tá? Eu não sei porquê, mas tá feio.
Traveler, Paimon, there you are. Nahida! Bad news! We just saw the balladeer strolling around in public! Did he escape or... Ah! It's him!
Escapou não. No louco ele.
Sure enough, you're here.
Aí ele falando com nós de boa, não creio.
What are you doing in the sanctuary of Surasthana? Aren't you supposed to be locked up? I know you must have a lot
Muito
of
bom,
questions.
velho. Sério, muito bom.
Please, allow me to explain. It was my idea to set the balladeer free. We made a deal, and he's gonna do some investigation in Irminsul for me. A deal? Huh. You sure you trust this guy?
What did you expect? Why do you think Sumeru would keep me around otherwise? Or maybe killing me is all you can think about. But if that's the case, why haven't you done it already?
Don't flatter yourself. It was... Nahida said there's still some mysteries in you to figure out.
So if it were you, you'd finish the job? Had you all wrong. There I was thinking you were just getting cold feet.
Ah lá.
Well, that escalated quickly. Not a good start. Could I ask what? Paimon's worried about you, Nahida. Don't let him trick you.
It's not every day you see people questioning the God of Wisdom's judgment. Just when you think you've seen it all.
Don't you dare try to drive a wedge between us! As long as the terms are reasonable, I don't think there's a problem in making a deal. Even with the balladeer.
Well, I for one have no reason to doubt you. Considering you even struck a deal with the doctor.
Yes, one in which I gained valuable information. You'll come to understand more about that in the fullness of time. The balladeer's power was all but completely spent after your battle. He's no longer strong enough to be a strategic threat to us. That puts him in quite a precarious position.
Entendo.
Plus, he's a former harbinger with knowledge of many of the Fatui's sensitive secrets.
O gráfico melhorou do nada,
Being stuck
mas
here in
tudo bem.
Sumeru could make him a sitting duck, depending on how the Fatui plan to respond. Wait a second. Farmer? You mean he's not a harbinger anymore? I take no pleasure in saying this, but it seems as if the doctor had no intention of welcoming back a loser, so...
Sometimes it's you using them, other times it's them using you. Most human relationships are this way. Certainly all the stable ones are. That's how it was between me and the Fatui, and also between each of the Harbingers. So as long as you have some value to offer, nobody will ever abandon you. But after recent events, even I have to admit that I'm not worth quite what I used to be. Well, if the Fatui are gonna reevaluate my utility, I need to have a backup plan for myself.
As we
already discussed, I don't like causing harm to living beings, and you said you need protection. So, why not join forces with us?
I think these two have made their objection to that idea fairly clear, don't you? And they're your friends, so I guess you'll be siding with them.
Yeah, obviously! Nihira, don't listen to him!
Then let's put that discussion to the side for now. Time? Today can be a trial run. Where we go from here will depend on how well we manage to fight today.
All
Eita,
right, then
que
I'll do what we
teste.
agreed.
Qual será?
Good. Go now, and keep in touch.
Nihira! You're serious about this?
Yes. I have my reasons for this decision. In fact, I'm largely doing it for your benefit. Yes. As I told you once before, there's information about your twin in Irminsul.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's the whole reason we came to see you today. So,
You may remember me mentioning that the Fatui had not It's possible that the Fatui have other information that even I don't know about. He was granted the power to connect with Irminsul when he almost became the god of a new era. Even though he no longer has the Gnosis, some traces of its power remain in him. He can still... The amount of information in Irminsul is vast beyond description. Sifting through all of it without knowing what to... So I asked the Balladeer to search in Irminsul for any information about the Descenders. With this kind of information, I should be able to find it more quickly.
exactly! Or what if... Paimon just doesn't trust him! He's treated us as enemies every time we've run into him!
I understand. But sometimes, everything is dictated by which side you're on. How... What information he brings back. I know what your heart desires most of all. Our minds have connected several times before. There's a corner of your heart reserved for an intense longing. A feeling of being all alone in the dark, searching for the one candle whose light still burns. As Sumeru's deity, it is my responsibility to be on guard against the Balladeer. But as someone who counts you as a friend, I want to do something for you. If this deal with the Balladeer can give you the answers you've been longing to find, then it's worth it. It's my pleasure, really. You're Sumeru's hero. You've more than earned it.
Que isso, hein? Herói de Sumero. Mas é a realidade. Óbvio que ele não é... Óbvio que ele não fez tudo sozinho, né?
Paimon's still worried about this idea. Is there anything we can do to help?
I was going to contact you about that, but then you... Your own accord. Seems like... In fact, I was going to ask you to supervise the Balladeer on my behalf while he carries out the task I assigned. Even though he only has a fraction of his full power left, that's still a fraction of a former Harbinger. If you could accompany him, it would put my mind at ease. Of course, I'll be there to help guide you through Irminsul from the outside. Great. Thank you. Prepare yourselves. I'm going to transport you into Irminsul.
Ô, louco. Meu Deus, nem fudendo que vamos pra Irminsul.
Wow! It looks pretty different here compared to last time. The colors are
Yeah.
gentler. Guess that must be because Sumeru's at peace now.
Look at that. Hot on my heels. You know, you didn't have to company. Oh, but I guess you panicked when you realized that I might enter Ermin's soul ahead of you.
Babá.
You beak, jailbird! No way a
Ai,
prisoner gets to be
que
so smart!
babá.
I understand that prisoners have to put up with harassment from the guards, but right now, I'm on temporary release. So maybe you should think about backing off a little.
Sounds like a successful rendezvous. I need to be quite clear about something. In a few moments, you'll be entering into the innermost region of Erminsoul. It is an environment like no other, and the most unlike anywhere else. Erminsoul's inner region consists exclusively of torrents of information. You must put aside your differences and be extremely careful as you navigate your way through. I know there are many grievances between you, on both sides, but it is essential that you remain calm after entry. This is as much for your own safety as anything else.
Fine, let's call it truce. But only until this mission's over.
Let's cut each other a little slack, shall we? We are gonna be traveling together after all. Per my agreement with Lesser Lord Kusanali, I'll be at the front. It's my job to lead the way and get rid of any obstacles in our path. All you have to do is keep your pretty eyes open and try not to fall behind.
You sure are confident. Paimon will give you that. You make it sound like you're even more experienced at adventuring than us.
If there are no further objections, I suggest we get going. Or did you need some time to mentally prepare yourselves?
Ew! Ugh, the snark on this guy. It's unbearable.
We can start now.
Erminsoul access granted. Initiating connection procedure.
Eita, e agora?
Is
Que
this
louco.
a small sapling?
Brotinho. Meu Deus.
Oh, darn it! Come on, let's catch up with him. Wow. So this is the inside of Erminsoul. Ooh. Paimon's never seen anything like this.
Erminsoul is closely intertwined with the entirety of Tevat. Every bit of information flowing here means something. Pick your jaws up off the floor. It's time to go.
Why is it that Paimon just wants to do the opposite of everything he says?
Lesser Lord Kusanali, we will now proceed to the heart of Erminsoul.
Can you still sense where the heart of Erminsoul is?
Yes. Permission to begin searching for information there?
Permission granted. Go ahead.
O que será que vai aparecer pra nós?
Let's go. Stay close. Don't go running off.
Hey, so say we did go running off in here. What would happen? What are you smirking at?
I was just imagining the look on your travel companion's face if you went and got lost. Anything's possible
Meu
in here.
Deus.
You can't rule anything out. So if you want to stay safe, your best option is to stick close to me.
Eita, o que acontece se eu... Ah, não tem como. Olha que legal, velho.
These sapling things have spread out.
Those are all packets of information from inside Irminsul. Be careful not to touch them.
Pera, não pode tocar neles? Ah, pode
It
ser.
looks the same in every direction. No wonder he mentioned about lost. Huh. What do you know? He was actually telling the truth. Is he mocking me again? What is it this time?
There's a time and a place to lie, but this definitely isn't it. So why don't you relax your guard a little?
Scaramuche relaxando, eita.
We're here.
What a huge tree!
Lesser Lord Kusanali.
Good, you made it. Are you ready?
Ready when you are.
Then please begin. Preparing to access cognitive currents. Establishing wake.
The Balladier's actually doing what Nahida tells him. Guess he must want to stay alive.
Que papel? Não tô entendendo nada.
The rest is up to you. If you discover anything at all, make sure to share it with us.
Will do.
Huh. For once, we're the ones with nothing to do.
Traveler, Paimon, would you like to talk? Yes, I've also invited Paimon to join.
Huh? What the? We can talk to each other inside our heads?
That's part of it. Plus, we're all friends. There's nothing wrong with us talking like this.
Paimon's never tried this before. This is great! So, Paimon's been wanting to
Acusando e chamando o viajante de amigo.
I think the Balladeer
Isso é
is a bit of a
incrível.
walking contradiction. He's always talking back, but he seems to listen to what you say.
As I've told you before, there are still some mysteries for him to resolve. Things that are clear as day to me, that he has yet to understand. Perhaps today will be the day that he finds some answers. Well done. Smart and attentive as always. So, you made contact with that part of his mind. Well, it's true. Betrayal turned the ballad.
Huh. Paimon thought nothing could get under that guy's skin. Turns out, he can get hurt and angry just like anyone else.
Everyone has a history, Paimon. Even if you're a puppet created by the Electro Archon.
Speaking of puppets, we ran into two people at the Academia today talking about an essay. Turns out their topic was about the Tatarasuna incident.
If you mean the mysterious events, the Kabuki Mono and so on, yes. I know about all of that.
Really? Because from what they were saying, it sounded like lots of Tatarasuna's history is still unexplained. And most of the information we have now is just from people filling the gaps with their imagination. At least that...
Oh? How interesting. Those two managed to deduce quite a lot through guesswork alone.
So the Gase got it right?
Well, they guessed right about one thing. Tatarasuna was sabotaged.
Must be a riveting conversation you three are having. Funny how all the good ones happen when I'm not involved.
What makes you think we're talking to each other?
Don't insult me. You're having a private conversation without me. Obviously, I must be the topic of said conversation.
Meio complicado isso aí.
Of course you do. You can't have your prisoner knowing too much.
So, have you found anything yet?
Still looking. Don't get your hopes up, though. You and your twin come from outside this world. It wouldn't surprise me if there was nothing on either of you in Irminsul at all.
Wait! How do you know about that? Did Nahida tell you?
It's not like we've never met before. And anyway, you're world famous. It'd be surprising if I didn't know a few things about you. Right now, we have to keep the peace. I'm not interested in creating more misery for myself, and making cordial conversation is something I can manage. Huh? Wait.
This light. It looks similar to those saplings. What could it be?
Anonymous data.
Hey, don't you forget the agreement. You have to share it with us.
Shh. Just wait.
Mr. Niwa, are you certain this is worth the risk? We are talking about Tatarasuna's furnace, after all. It may not pay to act rashly.
There's no one else who can enter the furnace. It has to be me.
Is that so? Well, since you insist.
It's...
Whoa!
I have been in Tatarasuna for some time now. You have shown me great hospitality, as has Mikoshi Nagamasa. Under your leadership, Tatarasuna is a warm, welcoming place, like a giant village. As I understand, the Raiden Shogun has, in recent years, eliminated much of the evil that plagued Inazuma. As for Tatarasuna, it was the forging industry with crystal marrow as a raw material has since flourished, giving rise to skills, blood, dreams. Every smith brought into this trade looks...
Yes, well, were it not for you coming to Inazuma and happening to make Akame's acquaintance, the two of you never would have joined forces. You allowed Akame to take all the credit for a method that you jointly developed. He sold it to me. Even now, you remain one of Tatarasuna's key consultants, working right here alongside us. I believe it is you, sir.
You flatter me. From the outset, I saw much that was commendable in the forging industry of Inazuma. And it has been my great honor.
So you say, Escher. But is this really the truth?
My good sir, what do you mean?
I tried to resist thinking it was all connected. Because I didn't want to speculate. And I didn't want to believe that things... What have we gained from adopting your new technology? Ominous black smoke? Mounting production problems? Worker fatigue and casualties are up and continuing to rise, and recently, as you well know, someone died because of that strange filth inside the furnace. We've kept the truth from spreading outside, but still, I suspect you understand it better than I do. None of the people who went out to get help have come back. Now, our mutual friend, the Kabuki Mono, is taking the Golden Feather to Narukami Island to seek an audience with Shogun. This is our last hope. But that doesn't faze you, does it, Escher? Nothing does. Otherwise, why would you still be standing there with that smile on your face?
I'm just surprised that you finally chose to be so sincere. I'm sure you've been harboring these suspicions for quite some time.
Mikoshi Nagamasa may have noticed that there was
Luisa.
one common denominator among all these events. Namely you, Escher.
After all, Nagamasa is the adopted son of Mikoshi Torichio, the yokai struck down by the Shogun's own hand. If he truly seeks to redeem his family's honor, an abundance of
You're well informed on the subtleties of his situation for a mechanic all the way from Fontaine. Are you sure you're not a little
Fontaine?
overqualified?
Nossa.
Why, Mr. Niwa, are you suggesting I
Já
find
estão
a job
falando
as
de
a diplomat?
Fontaine. Interessante.
Sadly, I am so very attached to my craft.
Enough, Escher. I'm here because an evil force is raging inside the furnace. And someone needs to take your new device inside the high-risk zone orbit and put an end to the problem. I'm in charge here. And I'm about to take some responsibility and head inside. Probably to my death. But what about you? What are you still doing here?
Judging from the look in your eyes, you don't seem to...
Drop the act! We're past that now. Whoever... I just want to know what you're still doing here. What's left? Don't you have...
Honestly, I'm just waiting for the right moment.
Meu
A
Deus.
moment like this, where you finish... I stop you from entering the furnace.
You...
You're a little smarter than I initially gave you credit for. I thought I'd disguised myself exceptionally well, at least for the first few days. But to my surprise, you had your people look into my background right from the start. It's a long journey from Inazuma to Fontaine, but that didn't stop them. Eventually, they managed to confirm that Escher was an alias, and that I was not from Fontaine at all. And yet, despite all of that, you still fail to realize my true identity, and what I seek in Tatarasuna.
Did you really think you would be able to see through my plan?
Nossa.
If you kill me, there's no one who can get inside the furnace. So you're really going to destroy this place? Is that it?
Oh, but you're quite wrong. There is one other person. Some may not see him as a person, but you told him yourself. You're not a puppet. You're a human. You're just missing a...
Whoever you're working for won't get away with this. They'll be found out. This makes no sense. What are you really trying to accomplish by all this? Why go to all this trouble?
It's no trouble at all. Patience is a virtue which I have in abundance. This is all part of a carefully controlled experiment. If you must know, I'm happy to divulge my true identity. I'm a Fatui harbinger. Call me the Doctor.
The Fatui?
É o Dottore.
Who?
Nem
What do you
fudendo,
want?
é o Dottore. Eu pensei, será que é o Dottore? Mas não creio que é ele mesmo.
Just to create a minor inconvenience for your nation.
That's it? That's why you gave us your cursed...
Look how even the righteous soul is filled with venom when faced with its demise. My device functions precisely as you say. It is the only chance you have of preventing a catastrophe and keeping the truth from the outside world. However, I did not make it with you in mind. It is easier for a person to be possessed by evil spirits when they are filled with hate. So give in to your fury. I want to see what happens when a malevolent heart is placed into an unsuspecting puppet. Make no mistake, even without you, that pure, innocent puppet would only end up being used by someone else instead. What other reason would a human have for befriending one who is not of our kind?
If you give him my heart, tell him that both Nagamasa and he has nothing to prove to anyone. Because not everyone just wants to use other people. The only ones.
What a beautiful way to see the world. It almost makes me feel a little guilty. Then out of respect for you, think of me as a monster or a demon, if you wish. At least this way your death is not a consequence of your own folly turning you into an easy target. You simply lost to something more powerful than you could ever hope to defeat. I say, Mr. Niwa, let's see what happens. Will your puppet friend become a human? No, that will prove Mr. Niwa. Already dead. What a pity.
Nossa.
Jester, I have completed the task you gave me. Creating... I'd like to introduce a puppet to you. If he proves useful...
Hey, are you all...
Dottore. Good.
Was that the doctor? Did he turn into a mechanic from Fontaine? But why did...
When I touched the doctor to confirm whether he
Maybe so.
does it, but this memory shows that Niwa didn't betray you. You know very well what that means. Even more so than not.
Nossa.
Let's give him some space. He looks really mad. Paimon,
We need to give him some time to process his emotions.
Paimon's still confused about the Tatarasuna incident. So, the doctor what?
Nobody has ever deceived you like that, Paimon. It's natural that you find it difficult to understand. Perhaps he needed to learn, so now you have the complete picture. Katsuragi took the Kabuki Mono to live with the people of Tatarasuna. Later, The doctor showed up. It was all a horrific experiment planned by the doctor.
E o jogo vai fechar agora. Então eu vou parando. Não, não vou parando o vídeo por aqui não. Eu vou parar o vídeo e continuar. É isso. Enfim, não demora tanto. Arrumei aqui o gravador. Eu falei que ia terminar porque eu tô jogando por stream no GeForce, então meio que depois de 1 hora jogando ele termina, então meio que ia acabar o jogo, entendeu? Então pensei, tá quase acabando o tempo, então eu vou fechar, não, tipo, eu vou fechar e reabrir. Eu pensei, não, eu não preciso fazer 2 vídeos, é só eu pausar o vídeo, pausar o gravador e reiniciar, certo? Certo, deu certo. Enfim. Agora podemos ler com mais calma também.
I'm still confused about the Tatarasuna incident. So, the doctor was behind it, but...
Nobody has ever deceived you like that, Paimon. It's natural that you find it difficult to understand. Perhaps he needed to learn this someday. So now you have the complete picture. Katsuragi took the Kabuki Mono to live with the people of Tatarasuna. Later, the doctor showed up, disguised as the mechanic from Fontaine. And that it was all a horrific experiment planned by the doctor. Everything he did was just to plant seeds of disaster in Inazuma that would bear fruit in the future. Of all the unwitting participants in the doctor's experiment, the balladeer became the main test subject. After the events you just saw in that memory, the doctor put Niwa's heart into the device and handed it to the balladeer. Then, he instructed him to enter the furnace and absorb all the filth caused by the smelting process. The load was far beyond what he expected, but the balladeer survived. He left the furnace in sheer exhaustion and said to the mechanic, "This device seems to have protected me. What's in it?" The mechanic answered, "Niwa fled this place for fear of punishment, but he left you a gift. He said it's the one thing that you've been looking for. He took it straight from the chest of one of his innocent servants." The mechanic removed the withered heart from the device as he spoke. The balladeer was stunned that such unthinkable cruelty had brought him the thing he'd been longing for his entire life. A heart acquired through cold-blooded murder is a cursed thing, but it has protected him from the filth. He thought Niwa had completely betrayed him, and yet this very betrayal had ensured his survival. Overwhelmed with anger and sorrow, the balladeer threw the heart to the ground and left Tatarasuna without looking back.
Holy moly. So the doctor killed an innocent man and pinned everything on the victim? That's terrible.
Yes. Only if he understands this can he choose a new path forward.
Tottori, you brazen-faced... Niwa didn't run from justice. You killed him.
Ué, não dá pra falar com ele? Ah, dá sim.
Shall we see how he's doing? Hey, you alright? scary expression.
Are you worried about me? If we didn't have such a history, I'd almost think that qualifies me to be your friend.
Mas olha que linda.
It won't. I'll keep my end of the deal.
Hey, are you investigating the stuff we want to know about?
That's why we're here. But unfortunately,
Pô,
there's no information about the
o
descendants
viajante
in
podia pelo
Irminsul.
menos falar que queria ser amigo dele. Ah, ia ser bonitinho, velho, mas... né?
Even if you can't find anything, that seems to confirm it. Irminsul does not keep records on the Descenders. Anyone who comes from beyond this world is not counted as part of Teyvat.
Oh, does that mean we have to leave empty-handed?
Don't thank me just yet. You look really upset. Well, since Irminsul was a dead end, I guess I can share some other info that might interest you.
Huh? About what?
The reason why there are records about your sister in Irminsul. It might have something to do with Conria. Apparently, Conria was her first destination when she arrived in this world.
Caíria, meu Deus do céu. Caralho, Caíria.
Plus, she only came to this world
Nossa.
because the heavens responded to the summoning.
The heavens responded?
The Jester told me this himself. You can take his word on this. He was a royal mage in Conria, and lived with your sister for a time. I don't know the details. It's up to you whether you want to believe me. All I can say is, I wouldn't lie to you about this. Did you get all that, Lesser Lord Kusanali?
Yes. Astonishing news.
Does this info count towards my mission? It wasn't from Irminsul, but was it valuable?
Very valuable.
Good. In that case, I'll take some time for myself now.
Huh? What have you done?
Lesser Lord Kusanali was right. My power's all but completely spent. Even if I use all of the divine power left in me, I can't sustain this shield for very long. I shared a secret with you, and now you owe me. So in return, I'd like you to answer a question for me. Give me your hand. Can you hear my voice inside your head? No, I can't do anything like that anymore. At most, all I can do is exchange a few words with you. So tell me, in this world, is it possible to change the past? Done.
Huh? What the? What happened? Paimon only saw you holding hands for a second.
Nothing. I was just thanking him for helping me.
Pera, ele disse que pode mudar o passado? Ou ele perguntou?
So long.
Será?
I suggest you get yourselves out of here quickly.
Where are you going? Hey, wait up! Didn't you say not to go running off?
Fast reaction time. But I don't think we'll be seeing each other again. From this day forth, the names Balladeer and Kabukimono will cease to exist. Those who died in Tatarasuna because of me deserve another chance at life.
Hey, Balladeer! Don't do anything stupid!
Ah, não.
You know, I never did like insects. Hordes of the puny things swarming together can be a real nuisance. And I enjoy nothing more than to stamp them out. But if a colony of harmless ants isn't threatening anyone, I guess they deserve to be left alone. Luckily, everything can be set right. It's time to solve this once and for all.
Balladeer! Balladeer! Uh-oh, he
Oh, não.
disappeared. Come on, we gotta find him somehow.
O que ele tá fazendo, velho?
Oh no, he's really gone.
Oh, can you hear me?
Nahida!
Traveler, Paimon, Balladeer, what happened just now?
It was the Balladeer's fault. He shut you out.
I didn't think he'd be capable of something like that with so little power left. Did he keep some of his power hidden when he was defeated? Or did he achieve something beyond his abilities?
Where the heck did he go? Ugh, it's all our fault. We were supposed to keep an eye on him.
Don't be. It's not your fault. Please, let me handle this from here. We're running out of time. Follow my lead and get out of Irminsul as soon as possible.
We're out. And we're at,
This is an emergency.
Meu Deus.
I'll have to ask you to stay here for now. Everything's arranged, and nobody will disturb you. I'm sorry, but this isn't something I need your help with.
an emergency? How bad is it? Nahida?
Don't worry. If my assessment is correct, though there may be some minor disturbances, it won't lead to a disaster.
Her voice has gone. Paimon can't shake the feeling that something really big has happened. What do you think the Balladeer meant? And why did he suddenly grab onto you before?
Nossa.
He wants to change the past? But surely that's impossible. Right! You can't just rewrite history. All that stuff happened already in real life. It's like, imagine Paimon drank all the water in this inn. Even if no one was there to see it, Paimon would sure as heck remember drinking it.
Ótimo exemplo.
Why does
Ai,
Paimon
ai.
still have a bad feeling about this? Paimon can't help but feel scared about what he might do. Ooh, Paimon's so confused. Huh? Ah!
Pera,
Brat. He's been nothing
olha,
but trouble ever since we met him.
esse fato foi esse papo foi interessante. O Aeta nem pensou, mas tipo, se é possível se apagar da Imirsul, significa que a Lumine se apagou da Imirsul. Para o viajante não souber dela, não souber algo dela, não soubesse algo dela, isso significa que deve ser possível sim se apagar da Irminsul. Bom, aparentemente sim.
There's no way he'll actually succeed, right? Otherwise, won't everyone who's connected to him be affected too?
Eu também não consigo imaginar como seria. Não faço a mínima ideia. Porque muitos acontecimentos que aconteceu em Nozuma não iria acontecer. Como por exemplo, a Yaimiko não iria ter dado a visão Electro para os scaramuche. Porque o viajante não estaria lá. Nem estaria lá na real. Tipo, não dá pra imaginar o tanto de coisa que teria não acontecido. Sim, afetará todo mundo.
There's nothing we can do about it at this point. Hey, have you got any ideas on what we should do next? Seems like now there's nothing left for us to do but to go to sleep. But Paimon's still so worried. Paimon won't be able to sleep a wink tonight, so how about we list all our favorite foods to take our mind off things? Heck, if that doesn't work, Paimon's probably gonna
Pera
collapse
aqui.
of anxiety
Mas isso
here.
nas comidas favoritas para pensarmos em outras coisas. Ora, se isso não funcionar, Paimon vai provavelmente morrer de ansiedade. Ah, tá.
Alright, Paimon will start. First dish. Munstack grilled fish. Oh, and chicken mushroom skewer. And Drayan chili chicken. Almond tofu. Satisfying salad. Oh, also Adeptus Temptation. Golden shrimp balls. Triple layered consomme.
Eita.
Um. What do we... What was Paimon
Paimon estava falando. De
talking?
repente, Paimon não consegue lembrar.
Paimon suddenly can't remember what she
Você
was
estava
talking about.
ficando tão preocupado com a situação dos scaramuche.
Is that a food too? Huh. Weird name though.
O quê? Ah, não. Ela esqueceu do scaramuche. Meu Deus do céu.
What's wrong?
Mas o viajante não
Your eyes
lembra
are
dele
like
então, né?
saucers. Was it something Paimon
Óbvio.
said?
O viajante não é desse mundo, então faz sentido ele não esquecer, mas caralho.
So, the balladeer. Is that someone's name? Okay, sure. Where are we going? Huh?
Nossa.
Paimon, but is everything okay? You're acting like this is an emergency.
Eu vou ter que ir pra Nazuma mesmo, caralho, deixa eu ver. Caralho, é como se fosse fácil, né? Tipo, eles vão pra Inazuma instantâneo, tipo, vamos sair de Sumeru do nada, tá ligado? Vamos resolver esse problema, vamos sair da nação. É isso, tá ligado? E é isso, é literalmente isso. Louco demais. Vale com a minha mão, né? Toma. Cadê ele?
We made it to Amanoma Smithy!
Ah, it's been a while. Of course. Go ahead. No. Now there's a question I wasn't expecting. The once renowned Raiden Gokuden, comprised of 5 branches. Aminoma, the art of forging practiced by these 5 clans, was first taught to them personally by the almighty Shogun. Over time, most of the great swordsmith clans of old have since fallen into decline, but fortunately, Kaede Harakazuha recently returned to Inazuma and took up the mantle of the Ishin art. Now, if my memory serves me right, you yourself were present when he forged the Ishin
Oh, yeah, we were! Paimon remembers that now. We learned a bit about the decline of the Raiden Gokuden then, too.
Na época, meu Deus.
That,
Época,
my
puta que
friends,
pariu, hein?
is a tragic tale indeed. In fact, this was not made known to me for most of my life. All these years, I knew of those great clans He told me that, as we are both heirs to a branch of the Raiden Gokuden, it was right. There is no harm in telling you. The Raiden Gokuden were the targets of a...
Vengeful?
400 years ago, so I'm told, there was a catastrophic malfunction in Tatarasuna's furnace. One brave swordsmith heard the commotion and chose not to flee, but he rushed to the scene, hoping to prevent a disaster. Tatarasuna was home to a state-of-the-art forging and smelting operation in that day, and overseeing it was the armor, knowing that they had just one chance to save countless lives. Mr. Niwa and the swordsmith leaped to get the smith's death, though heroic, dealt a devastating blow to his family's fortunes. His orphaned son was left to fend for himself, and grew up deeply resentful at the war. In his heart, the whole of Inazuma was culpable in his tragedy. He hated the almighty Shogun for her apparent indifference towards powerless and destitute.
Muito
The only
texto.
legacy he had to pass on to his children was his hatred. Generation after generation bore. Alas, if only the story could have ended there. But 100 years ago, finally, he made a drastic decision to take revenge on the Raiden Gokuden. In doing so, he sought to vent in his fury. He murdered indiscriminately, killing even bladesmiths from the Hyakume clan, which he But when he came to the Kaedehara and Kamisato clans, his killing spree came to an abrupt end. He failed to catch them unawares. They fought back. That is why the Kaedehara clan and their Ishin art survived that day. I suppose...
Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
Kazuha? Why, yes. Just yesterday, in fact. We spoke for a while over some tea.
Sim.
My pleasure.
Don't tell Paimon. There are other places you want to visit too, right? Your expression says it all. You can't. On to the next stop. Lead the way, traveler. Paimon will be right.
Comissão em Ashiro? Pera, eu quero ver um negócio. Tatarassoma. Que estranho, não tem Tatarassoma, né? Verdade, não tem Tatarassoma. É meio estranho, porque Tatarassoma, eles estão falando de Tatarassoma em Inazuma, né? Tipo, um lugar. Mas esse lugar vai existir no jogo? Porque não existe, né? Porque aparentemente é um lugar muito especial, tá ligado? Muito, tipo, importante. Mas não tem nenhum lugar aqui. Ou talvez seja o nome de um desses lugares. Aralme, Grande Santuário, Naruto, sei lá o que. Floresta, Inazuma. Tatarassoma, tem sim ali, ó. Tatarassoma. É ali. É ali, ó. Tatarassoma. Tá, mas... se é ali... pô, queria ir lá pra investigar o que tem lá, porque, mano, eu já fui lá, tá ligado? Inclusive tem uma missão importante pra fazer lá. Mas, pô, o que tem de errado? O que tem de errado lá que tem a ver com isso? Não sei, não sei.
We're here! This is the Yashiro Commission's headquarters, so...
Traveler, it's been a while. If you're looking for the Commissioner and Miss Kamisato, I'm afraid your timing is unfortunate. They're not here right now.
Are they out on business?
The Commissioner is out on business, and Miss Kamisato is standing in for some meetings in the Commissioner's place. If it's urgent, you're welcome to wait inside until they get back.
What do you think? Shall we go in?
If it were anyone else, I couldn't allow it. But seeing as you're so close with the Commissioner and Miss Kamisato, I think it should be okay.
We'll be heading in then. Thanks!
Hello, dears. Is there something you want to say? Of course, traveler. Yes, I know who you are. Miss Kamisato has told me about you. What would you like to know? Oh, they're both very well indeed. Lately, Miss Kamisato has been rather busy attending all kinds of meetings, and as for the Commissioner himself, well, you know, busy
Com
as
certeza
ever.
mudou algo sobre a
That
Bao,
much
com
hasn't
certeza.
changed. Although he does
So pretty much business as usual in the Yashiro Commission.
very much so.
Well, got any more questions?
You're very welcome. In fact, I would love nothing more than for you to come and visit more often. But I'm sure you must be far too busy to have time. Miss Kamisato talks about you all the time. She seems so thrilled to have you as a friend, and she's always saying how talented you are and how much she
Quanta
admires
admiração, né?
you.
Quanta admiração. Interessante isso aí.
I must say, many things in Inazuma seem to have taken a turn for the better since you arrived here. So you're not just Miss Kamisato's knight in shining. I mean it. Whenever the commissioner dines at home, Toma always joins him. I always find myself at my most relaxed. The commissioner has such a busy schedule that he doesn't always have the chance to take his meals at home. They say it's because Toma is a much better chef than most. Oh, the commissioner, they get to talking about you sometimes too, you know. Miss Kamisato occasionally joins them as well. Whenever the whole family gets together and they start talking about... It's been many years now since the late Mr. and Mrs. Kamisato. As someone who is old and gray enough to have watched their son and daughter grow up, it makes me so happy to see them.
Eita,
So,
a
in
cara
the
da mãe.
future,
Não, não é
if
a
you
mãe
ever
dela.
do have
Obviamente
the
não é a mãe
time,
dela. Pelo
please
amor de
know
Deus.
you are always very welcome at the Yashiro Commission headquarters. There will always be at least one old lady who would be delighted to have the pleasure of your company. Wonderful.
Paimon likes it here too. Also, you were saying something about Paimon's itching to try it. We may just have to invite ourselves around for dinner sometime. Paimon meant we should come pay a visit again real soon. Ideally around dinner time.
Of course.
Alright, goodbye for now. We're, great.
Tatarasuma. Agora que nós vamos pra Tatarasuma. Nossa. Bem que eu falei.
All right then. Take care now.
Eu disse.
Oh, are you two leaving already?
Yep, everything's taken care of now.
Very well. Safe travels. Goodbye.
E agora? Vamos lá. Vamos ver o que tem aqui. Por enquanto nada. Por enquanto nada. Tá tudo tranquilo.
Well, here we are. But what are we looking for? Something or someone?
Do my eyes deceive me, or is that
É
the
aquele
traveler
cara.
in Paimon?
Não, não é ele. Mas parece ele.
Xavier? What are you doing here?
Ai, meu Deus.
I was in the general area, and now I'm in this specific area. There, that's me. So what about you two?
We have some questions and thought you might be able to help.
Certainly do. I've researched. If there's anything you want to know, just ask away. Like the back of my hand. Not only that, but I've met people in Inazuma whose families used to live in Tatarasuna years ago. They said, Oh, well, it's a long story, don't you know? I'm told that its history is one of the most foremost forging and smelting operations in the nation. Goes back around 1,000 years. Still, the furnace has had a couple of...
A couple? When exactly?
One was just in the last few years, the other was several hundred years ago. A fun fact, I'm not the first Fontaine tech guy to come and work on it either. There was a guy back, they say he was a mechanic who consulted on a technology upgrade. It seems like the technological collaboration between our two nations goes back a long way. How about that?
Tatarasuna? Come on, ask already.
Oh, I didn't realize you two were here for a history lesson.
Me neither. Paimon doesn't know what's gotten into this one today. Feels like we've been preparing for a history exam or something.
What brought this on? Did you just wake up today with a sudden burning desire for historical knowledge? Sure, go ahead. A kabuki mono? No. I do know the word. Inazuman for those eccentric types who always go around dressed to nines. Just the sort of person that I'd like to meet, actually. But sadly, I've never had the pleasure, nor have I come across anything to do with a kabuki mono where Tatarasuna is concerned. Of course! Don't mention it.
Oh, we're leaving? Okay, bye, Snappy.
Oh, you're most welcome. More than happy to help. Farewell.
Não doing nada.
Looks like you got all the information you're looking for. Sure, but what's up with you today? Whatever it is, it seems like it's really troubling you. Keep your smile, Spinal Crocodile. No matter what happens, Paimon will always be there for you. Hey, don't mention it. Alright, let's head off and go meet Nahida.
Paimon não faz ideia. Retornar pra Sumeru. Que viagem rápida essa aí, hein? Que viagem rápida. Essa é a primeira vez. Essa é a primeira vez na história principal que eu vejo o viajante ir para um lugar, ir para uma nação e voltando rapidamente. É a primeira vez, porque não tem outra algo assim na história, não na principal. Pode, tipo, tem sim eventos, esses bagulho, mas missões secundárias tanto faz, mas principal não. Não.
Hey, it's them.
Pera.
Akaba, Sawada, you're still here?
Um looping? Será?
Indeed we are. If you have a moment, we'd love for you to join us once more.
We have time.
Ah,
What do you
não,
want to
looping
talk
não.
to us about?
Ah, tá.
It's the same topic we discussed last time.
Still looking for more info about Tatarasuna, huh? Should we join them?
Unfortunately, we haven't made any real progress. Huh? Oh, of course.
I presume you'll want to read mine as well. Here.
Então mudou. Eu não li os textos. Então não sei o que mudou. Realmente não sei porque eu não li nada. Mas realmente eu devia ter lido, mas pô, ler aquilo tudo? Não.
Well, what do you think?
Hey, Traveler. Remember how last time Akaba was saying how he wished he could gather more information about all this? Well, we just got back from Inazuma. So how about we...
What did you find out?
It's a long story. Basically, we have some friends.
Wow.
Se o
So
viajante
many
contasse
new details.
tudo que
Thank
ele
you
ouviu
so
sobre
much for sharing
Tatarsuma,
that with us.
seria um choque para ele, Paimon, porque ele lembraria, não lembraria, mas saberia, mas, sei lá. Ele não pode contar isso, então, sei lá.
Well, well. So it all comes down to one man's desire for revenge. Huh. You heard this from a member of the Armanoma clan. Ugh. So there's no ghost story here after all.
This new information actually lends further credence to my hypothesis. Evidently, swordsmiths...
Yes, okay, point taken, you were right. But that...
And they're back at it. These guys are really...
Oh, so sorry. Look,
You're welcome.
Keep us in the loop if you find out anything else.
Will do.
Calme, vou fazer um negócio. É rapidão.
If you're not sure what to do next, how about I take you on a walk?
Pronto. Vamos continuar. Eu amo a música daqui de dentro. A música da cozinhada é muito bonita. Será que a cozinhada lembra? Será que ela lembra? Espero que sim.
Traveler, Paimon, how have you been?
Ugh, where to start? Paimon hasn't had a moment's rest this whole time. That night, we ended up chatting and chatting until suddenly, the sun was up.
The balladeer?
Ah, ela também esqueceu,
Sounds
que
like some
bosta.
kind of code name.
Que bosta, ela também esqueceu. Ah, não, velho, que droga.
You look troubled. Is there something you... Traveler?
Hey, what's wrong? You look so upset.
Com pesar do coração, você que conta a história, coisas espalha através do tempo. Eita, ele contou tudo, eu acho. Havia um homem chamado Scaramuche, criado pelo Pontileco, era uma marionete. Isso.
That's quite a story. So, this puppet known as the Balladeer erased himself from Irminsul, hoping that he could change the past.
But how was he even able to do that?
As the traveler said, he very nearly became Sumeru's deity. Admittedly, I remember it a little differently. I don't recall finding anyone inside the machine after we defeated it.
Eita, eu lembro de algo.
Nevertheless, it does make sense. If someone were to successfully erase themselves from Irminsul...
So, you believe this person really existed? And we just don't remember him
O negócio vai mudar.
well,
O
because
tempo vai
he
acabar de
literally
novo em 10
changed the
minutos.
world?
Que bosta.
Yes. Theoretically speaking, it is possible to do this. The traveler comes from a world beyond to that. That's why there's no information about him in Irminsul. So if there's anyone in the world capable of retaining memories from a past that has been rewritten...
Paimon's having a hard time understanding this Balladeer guy's motivation.
I can only make inferences based on the information we've been given. As for what kind of person he was, only you remember that.
Sim, não pode. Por que ele não fala isso pra Kusanali? Da pergunta. Ah, não pode, verdade. Que ódio.
Something else worrying you? Something that you can't share?
Nossa, ela podia ter lido a mente dele, imagina só.
It couldn't change the fate of the ones who had died, right? Once the Balladeer realized he hadn't been betrayed after all, it must have completely changed his view of the people of Tatarasuna. Now he saw them as friends again. He couldn't keep hating humans after that. And if he thought there was a chance he could save his old friends, it would be hard not to try. This story makes sense, every part of it. The Balladeer tried to achieve godhood with the doctor's help. He was unsuccessful, but retained the power to connect. That power then enabled him to change what was recorded in Irminsul and erase himself, even though he didn't have much.
Yeah, it does make sense, but it just feels so hopeless. He gave everything to do this, but it seemed...
Please wait a moment. I want to check something. Found it. This should be the one.
Eita, que porra é essa?
It turns out that I have a strange way of confirming everything he has told us.
Eita, caralho, será?
What is it? A record from a personal collection. It was tucked away in a corner. You should take a look.
Interessante.
Is this a fairy tale? Who wrote it?
I authored this record myself.
Huh? You
Interessante, muito interessante isso aí.
When combined with the traveler's narrative, it's clear that this story is an allegory. Everything in it is a symbol for something else.
Hold on. So this record survived from the past?
É meio estranho,
Yes.
né? Meio estranho,
Any
né?
information about the balladeer or the kabuki mono and other records will have been changed. I wrote this story in a way that means it was left intact. Changing the information in Irminsul changes to that. But Irminsul can't change information that was well hidden in advance. I guess I must have written this story as a backup before the balladeer entered Irminsul.
Muito bom saber disso.
That's incredible! What a great idea!
And sending the traveler into Irminsul with the balladeer must have been a further precaution. I knew he'd remember everything. This story is abstract enough that it still resonates
Como
with the
sempre,
present information
a conte
recorded
da
in Irminsul.
sabedoria. A conte da sabedoria, como sempre.
But if we connect all the different pieces together, the true story that emerges is the... There was once a lone monster draped in fox fur. The monster found a family of foxes, joined them, and they became friends. The monster lived with the family day and night, and once in a while, the monster would take off its fox fur at night and lament to itself as it gazed at its reflection in the water. But the monster soon found solace when another came to live among the foxes who was not their kin. A kitten, carved from the wood of a white tree who had been abandoned by the humans. The kitten too wished to become a fox, but its tail was too slender and it could not grow a coat of richly colored fur. Yet when the other foxes saw this, they spoke words of comfort to the kitten. Even without a tail and fur like ours. Furious at this happy resolution, the monster lit a fire on the mountain. The terrified animals panicked as the fire spread. The only way to extinguish the flames, a gray fox stood up and addressed the monster. It said, the monster smiled, The monster gave the heart of water to the kitten, telling him, the fox...
Eu tenho que terminar o vídeo logo, porque o tempo vai acabar ali em cima.
It left that side of the mountain. The two promised they would spend their whole lives together, but the little bird did not have long left to live. It passed away. Never again would it cherish a single creature, nor a single blade of grass that stood on that mountain. The kitten spent them how it wished to swallow the moon and devour the moonlight. If the world could... I will become the new moon, the answer to everything. Then, no one will know that there were once birds,
Os olhos estão
foxes,
parecendo
and
Shadow.
cats in this world.
We solved it!
I remember now. This is not just the balladeer story. It is his very own memories.
Eita, ela fez cópia da memória. Incrível. Incrível, ela fez cópia da memória.
To become a god, he was experimented on and modified countless times. It was brutal torture, and the only reason he was able to survive is that this memory was extracted from him by the scholars. Presumably, they kept it to have something to creating a deity was just the first step. Some of them wanted to be able to control it. I buried it deep inside one of my own dreams, and
it's hard to believe that this person really existed, let alone that he tried to get rid of it. Paimon has no memory of him at all. He completely
The balladeer agreed to help me look for information about the Descenders. Before he vanished, he confirmed an important detail. We still don't know how the change to Irminsul will affect the senior ranks of the Fatui, but in all likelihood, they won't even remember their own Harbinger.
It sounds like Paimon wouldn't like this guy a whole lot if he was still around. But still...
This is why wisdom alone cannot answer all our questions. So the answer is not everything. People yearn to find the truth and then conquer the troubles they face. When you give someone the truth, you
que
give them a
droga.
chance to choose their own destiny.
Ok, acabou aqui. Relaxa que o vídeo, o próximo vídeo, eu vou gravar o próximo vídeo, não agora, porque, deixa eu ver as horas, 2h45, nesse exato momento eu estou indo dormir, não irei gravar agora, então, tipo, esse vídeo aqui vai ser separado, vai ter uma parte 2, ok? Não vou fazer missão diária, podia ter feito diária agora, porque tem diária pra fazer, etc, mas não vou fazer, deixar isso para outro momento. Tinha até artefato pra eu pegar também, mas deixa isso pra lá também. E é isso. Eu vou terminando o vídeo por aqui. Eu espero que vocês tenham gostado. Desculpa ficar tanto tempo sem postar, mas eu tô sem conteúdo, então normal, né? Então, tipo, é isso. Se vocês estiverem vendo esse vídeo agora, vão dormir. Depois assistem o vídeo, não sei. É isso. Tamo junto, falou. Até mais tarde.